Hello? Come on, a little bit louder. Hello? Okay. My name is Mrs. Arlene Day, AKA Mama Day. I am a 71-year-old retired licensed practical nurse with over 40 years of experience. I also worked at the airport. I was one of these people who are waving in planes and parking them. I raised 3 children, paid the mortgage on the house after a very bitter divorce from my husband. I started working 16 hours a day, 5 days a week to help out, but that wasn't enough. So I started refinancing the house. And I kept it up, and eventually we lost our home of 25 years, living in Long Island. Moved back to the Bronx. I tried to get a 3-bedroom house into a 1-bedroom apartment. So you can imagine how that looked. And I got very depressed, very angry, very bitter, and I got into trouble on one of my jobs. I was mandated to get a psych eval. I was diagnosed with bipolar NOS and personality disorder NOS. I was forced to stop working. So I lost my apartment of 7 years. Living with one of my children, and after I was diagnosed, I came to believe that what I thought was the zodiac sign of a Libra swinging back and forth was really a mental illness. And I asked my therapist, I said, how can I get back on my feet with my own independence? And he said, you have to go into the shelter system. And I was like, me? And after thinking about it a little while, I did go. I was in the shelter system for a little bit. From there, I was sent to an SRO, single room occupancy. And from there, I have been in my own apartment for 12 years. My life has changed forever. I started doing things that I wanted to do. Not things I had to do, but what I wanted to do. So after being diagnosed in my late 50s, I decided to start doing some of the things that I wanted to do. Since 2008, I am a published author, motivational speaker. I do presentations for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. I raised 3 grown children, 2 girls and a boy. They went to and graduated from universities. I have 4 grandbabies, 3 girls, 9, 7, and 6, and my grandson made his appearance this year, and I had a lot to do with that, trust me. And if you don't believe me, ask my son over there. I'm on the board of directors for 2 non-for-profit agencies, Community Action for Human Services, and the St. Mary's Senior Marlins, which I serve as vice president. New York City Parks Department restarted the Senior Swim Olympics and in 2016. It started up again in 2016, and my team, the St. Mary's Senior Marlins, we were the champions for 2016. And since 2016 to date, I won 4 medals, 2 silvers and 2 bronze. My life has definitely changed since I stopped working, and I am living proof that living with a mental illness, one can live a good life. Happiness is not a given, it's a choice, and I choose to be happy. I'm going to read to you An excerpt from my book, I Promised My Friend. This passage occurred when I was 8 years old, and it's called The Spaceship. And this really happened. Okay. The day I saw the spaceship was one of the scariest days of my life. It all started when I finished eating lunch and I wanted to go home. So I sneaked outside the school using the cellar door at the back of the school, letting me out on Union Avenue. As I came up the stairs with sunlight hitting me in my face, to my right, I saw in the middle of the block was this big gray steel spaceship with this ladder hanging down on the ground. I was grabbing onto the gate, sliding along. Can you imagine my dilemma of having to go in front of this thing to get around it? Of course, I tried to get back into the school, but the doors were locked. I was screaming my brains out, "Please don't take me, please don't take me," and crying for my mother as any normal kid would do. Funny thing, I didn't see anybody in the street that day. I ran around, down the street, across over to the projects, into the building, and when I got into the house hysterically crying, my mommy and Aunt Mary finally calmed me down, and I told them about my spaceship. They were in the progress of explaining to me that there were no aliens or spaceships when they came around the bend and were standing right in front of the building with this ladder hanging down. We could all see the men underneath the balloon. I thought I was going to die. I was past hysteria. I was on my way to blacking out. The last thing I remembered was Mommy and Aunt Mary screaming. When I woke up, it was gone. They explained that it was a blimp and it was low on helium. And usually they fly high, much higher, and they are used mainly for advertisement and transportation. The next time I saw one, it was a long time after that. It was high and far away. I still had that scary feeling. My name is Arlene Day, and this is My Brave.